Good. So my name is Tamer. Should I use microphone or my sound is okay? Okay. So my name is Tamer. I am assistant professor at the Arctic Marine Biology. So we are in the same faculty officially. I am teaching to you today this lecture, the Planetary Boundary, which is actually the continuation of this week lecture. I assume that you did this week 3 lectures. The first one was like Tuesday. It was like the sustainability science, introduction to sustainability. And then you got a second one yesterday about system thinking, correct? Polar crisis, okay. And then today we will go to planetary boundary, which is sort of continuation of yesterday lecture. But today we are going to see the problem from like zoom out. We try to zoom out and see the problem from outside. I am recording the lecture now, but I am recording it from the back camera, so actually no face appear in the record. So it's okay for you? Great. And after the record, we should upload the record into the Canvas, or at least I will send the link to you so you can watch it later. I am working with big data. I am working with big data and try to understand the sustainability science. And I will be with you not only today, but I will be also with the group work. You will see me often. I think you will start your group work next Monday. I assume we have a session Monday, and then we'll split you into group, and then we'll start to work from this point. So I will be with a group of you working together all the entire semester. Any one of you heard about something called Clouder's Eye Initiative? No? Okay, good. So actually, I am also the leader of Clouder's Eye Initiative, and this is actually a good link between business school and the other school here at the university. In the Clouder's Eye, actually, we try to put these two perspectives that this course is actually around. The one perspective is the sustainability, the problem, the crisis, how the earth are suffering from over-consuming, and the second end member is the innovation and business. So how we can, as a business, students, how we can solve this problem. So Clouders are not focusing on business student, it's focusing in general. So any student at EU in general, they can be part of this. And we can explain this later when we go to the group meeting. Good, so today lecture, actually, the presentation is a bit long. It's made for 4-hour lecture, it's not 2-hour lecture, so it's 4-hour lecture. So at the beginning of the lecture, I will give you like a background and basis of the planetary boundary, try to give you some evidence. I will not explain, I will not try to convince you that we have a problem, but you will see the figures and then you can conclude it by yourself by the end if we are in problem or not. Then in the second part of the lecture, we will go to this definition of what's the 9 planetary boundary. And we try to keep like 15 minutes by the end of the lecture to have like reflection from you about the planetary boundary in general. Before I start, I would like to say sorry. I am normally, my lecture are easy peasy. Student after my lecture going very happy with the lecture, except this lecture. So I just say sorry from the beginning if you get depressed or so, because this is the main message of the lecture. It's not to make you depressed, but to give you some facts. Unfortunately, the facts is not good, but it's still fact. And you need, as business student, you need to know this fact before you start thinking in your future career, future work. Before I start the lecture, I would like to ask you 2 questions. What does sustainable innovation mean? What do you think about the title of this course? Why you attend this course? Because of the innovation or sustainability, or because of both of them? What do you mean when you hear this point, sustainable innovation? What do you think about this? Okay. Okay, so this is one opinion. So we have here one opinion that she attended this lecture, or she would like to attend this course because she would like to use or to protect the planet, the Earth, in general. Okay. Yep. So other opinion, other disagreement, yeah, please.
I have a bachelor in fisheries and aquaculture science.
Okay.
So we have a lot of courses about sustainability and different perspectives, but the innovation part hasn't really been covered very well this
Good.
part. So and I'm going to start to work in an innovation company. So I thought it was nice to.
Okay, so you actually here for the innovation component. Okay, good, super. Other, yeah, please.
Feel like products have becoming of less quality over the few years, last 10 years, maybe, or 20 years. That's not very sustainable. Instead of having few good products, we now consume many worse products. And I think for us to make something sustainable, we need a new way of thinking about using or producing products.
Okay, good. So you are here in order to see this good quality product in order to consume less, in order to be a bit sustainable.
Yeah, for it to last.
To last for a long time. Yeah, instead to buy a mobile for a year, you need to buy mobile for 5, 6 years. Yep.
First, being product like models, lyrics really could help us to, innovate in the right direction.
Okay, so you are again here in the innovation component.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, when I hear the sustainable innovation, I am thinking in two things. It can be sustainability for the innovation. So how you can build a company, how you can make the company sustainable, how you can make your company get more benefit for you as a CEO or as a owner of the company or work for the company to get more benefit for you. This is first thing. And the second thing, that innovation for sustainability. So try to think outside the box, try to get new solution to the problems. So actually, both is correct. So if you are here for this, you will get this. If you are here for this, you will get this. And this is why we started with 3 lectures about sustainability, just to give you some facts that we have a problem. The problem actually, as we will see later, it's caused by us as a consumer, also by the business people, the people who are create business, who has companies, they actually main source of this problem. And you as a future, you need to think about, okay, I will work in the business sector, I will create my company, I will have my innovation solution. Perfect. You need to create something to get benefit, financial benefit for you. But why not? You can create something to get benefit for you, but also give benefit for society and for them. And this is the core of this course. So in Tuesday lecture, Vera introduced weak sustainability and strong sustainability. Could you please raise your hand if you are prefer weak sustainability? No one prefers weak sustainability. Okay, you raise your hand if you prefer strong sustainability. Okay, so we can say majority strong sustainability, and some has no opinion. Mix between them. Okay, so now we can start our first part of the lecture. And this is the age or the years, thousand year. And this is the temperature. It's expressed by the delta O2 or by temperature. And you can see here from this curve that the temperature actually over the time, over the last 100,000 years, it's changed. It's increase, decrease, increase, decrease, right? But if you look at the last 100 years, it's all the time increase. It's all the time above the average, right? I think this is fact. All of us are feel this. Even here in Tromsø, in an Arctic city, we feel that it's too hot. Good. This is the same figure again, just to you see here, this is the temperature, and this is the last 100 year, 150 year or so, and then the peak is going like this. So it's the same peak. Same thing. This is actually a comparison between the temperature in the 2013. So 2013, this is 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and the temperature in 5180, so like 40 years ago. And you can see there is no green actually, there is no blue. Everything is in the yellow part. So actually, all the entire Earth is increase the temperature. At least if we see at the very yellow part is 0.2. Even in some places like this central part of Europe, we are around 3 degrees. This is today. This is 2024. You can see the amount of the red color. Right? Just to see the comparison between this and that. This is 10 years ago. We have only one spot central in Europe. And then this year, everywhere we have like this very high temperature. If we look at the sea level, this is another fact. You can see that we are somewhere here. This is the elevation of the sea level, less than 0.2 meter. But it's expected that by 2100, so in 70 years from now, it will be almost 1 meter. Again, this is because of the high temperature, because you melt the ice and then the temperature starts to be high. This is the carbon dioxide. You can see again, the level of the carbon dioxide was okay, no problem, okay. And then in the last 100 years, it started to be shifted very rapidly. This is the estimation of the pH in the water. And I think, you know, pH in the water, this is change the ecosystem of the water itself. It change the chemistry of the water. It affects the fish. It affects all the animals and things that are living and plants that are living in the ocean. And again, you can see here. Again, you can see here, like here, for example, in the Arctic, we really suffer in this part from this change of the pH. And if you look actually in this, we have very small fact. The increase of the pH here in the Arctic and here in the almost southern pole. But actually, this CO2 produced in China, produced Central Europe, in Africa, in America. So actually, the producer of the CO2 is somewhere else than the effect. It's a global matter. actually how this pH affect our ecosystem. It's change the chemistry of the water, and as a result, all the animal, all the planets, or everything in the water start to try to adapt with the new chemistry of the water, and as a result, they change their habits, and they couldn't, in some places, couldn't compete with this change. And then we have such a beautiful feature, and due to this change, you have this such very ugly feature. And of course, it's not only this type of animal, not only the coral reef, but as you know from fishery, that you have a full cycle. If you try to kill one animal or one plant, all the cycle will be affected. Everything will be affected because all the animals, all the fish are dependent on each other. So if one of them just disappear, everything will be interrupted. Actually, this is a nice figure to show you how we, as people, consume. This is the fish that we produce, and this is 1950, so 70 years ago. And this is the fish that the marine capture fish, and this one, the green one, is the marine aquaculture, and the bit yellow one is the aquaculture in land. And then you can see start to increase. Maybe here after 20, the marine capture fish start to be a bit somehow stable, but the marine aquaculture and the aquaculture on land start to increase. Again, this is not good. Maybe we protect somehow the marine environment by like stop the fishing there at some point, but we still consume a lot of fish. So in order to produce fish inland or in farm in sea, you need to put resources, you need energy, you need to put soya for the fish to grow. So we still use a lot of resources. This is actually the relation between the biosphere, how much we are consuming from the biosphere. So if you look here, 170, like 300, 400 years ago, we was like consuming very little, then increase, 2011, almost 50%, 2025, tomorrow, 2025 is tomorrow, we are almost near Christmas, 50-50, and then by, I think this is 2100, we will completely consume everything. This is the living planet index, and you can see this is the marine species, terrestrial species. This is in global freshwater species, and you can see this is 1970, again 40 years ago, and you see how much loss we start to lose from this biodiversity, from different animals, from different species. And now we can go for another part of the problem, which is the population. So this is the population in 1960. We was maybe 0.5 billion. And then we start to increase. We now, I think, 8 point something billion person living, right? 8 billion something. And then we don't know actually what's happening here. So can be like this, very rapid increase in the population. It can be like linear, which again is not good, or it can be like bend the curve to the negative part. So try to reduce the number of the people. And of course, the problem is increased population. This means increased consumption. People need food to eat, resources to use, energy to use, clothes to wear, right? And people also create pollution. So people need consume and create pollution. So more people, more problem. So now we need to think, and I can give you an example. If you are a person who go to Yekta to buy something, and you have your credit card, do you think you are going just to buy? Or sometime you check your bank account to see, okay, I have some money left in my bank account, I will buy. Or no, I don't have enough money in my bank account, I will stop now. Normally what you are doing. Who is just buying without looking for into his bank account? Who try to look from time to time into his bank account in order to see. Okay, so and the rest, I think you don't have bank account. Okay, so actually this example or this question to show you we need a measure, right? We need like something to tell us, okay, you consume today this amount of water. You consume today this amount of energy. So you need like a measure to tell you how much you consume. And this is the plan. So actually the planetary boundary, before this, the planetary boundary, and this is important thing that makes the student all the time depressed from this lecture, is just a measure, not a method to solve the problem. It's something to tell you how much you consumed from our planet, how much left that we still can consume in the future. But the planetary boundary doesn't tell you that this is the way how to fix the problem. It just tells you there's a problem here. You need to fix. Okay? So today we highlight the problem. From next week, when we start the innovation part of the course, you will start to think outside the box in order how you can solve this problem. And again, the point here, no one can solve the problem alone, because as we will see, the problem is a huge problem in just 5 minutes from now. It's really a huge problem. And no one can go, I will fix everything. It's not logical. But you can contribute with a bit. You can contribute with your consuming. You can say, I will not consume a lot of energy. I will not change my mobile every year. I can keep my mobile for 2-3 years, and then I can change it when it's just completely out of order. So you can change your behavior or increase awareness. When you are sitting with your friend during lunch or dinner, you inform them, okay, we have a crisis now. We need to change. Or you can make a project. You can make a social project. You can go to society, inform them, make lectures. Or business. There is a lot of business idea that can fix problem, can take care of the environment. So there is several levels of how you can contribute to stop this. Okay? This is actually something to tell you why this course is important. I think you saw this figure before. This is a figure that presented by Vera before in Tuesday about the 3 pillars of the sustainability. And she said that the social, environment, and the economy should be in equilibrium. So she drew 3 equal circles that interrelate with each other. And then she said, but this is not true anymore, and it's become like the Mickey Mouse figure, which the economy has a more large part, and then the social and the environment is the smallest. So it's the same figure, but I will present the Mickey Mouse with a different way. Actually, this is the truth. So United Nations, they put a lot of things. For example, sustainability goal, the 17 sustainability goal, different measure, a lot of policy and so on in order to fix the problem, the environmental problem, but still there is no balance between environment, people, and economy. And why this course is important, because I assume since you are studying business, you will work in the future with them. So you can just have this message. If you are work for a company, you can just inform the people who are owner of the company. We can help the earth by doing that. If you are owner of a company, you can start to think in outside the box, how your company be circular, how your company can contribute in a positive way to them. Well, this is the planetary boundary. So the planetary boundary approach aims to define the safe operation space for human societies to develop based on our evolved understanding of the function and resilience of the Earth system. So again, the planetary boundary, the aim is to define the safe operation space, just to give you measure. So the planetary boundary itself lies at the intersection of the green and the yellow zone. So actually, the boundary is here. You see, this is the green zone. This is the safe zone. So if we are here, the Earth is in health situation. The yellow, this means that we are going in complete wrong direction. Red and dark red, this is we completely out of the order. And the planetary boundary is here between the green and the yellow. Good. Any questions so far? Please interrupt me if you have question.
Should you go back one slide for 2 seconds?
Yep. I will share with you the presentation. So you will have the presentation with the text. And as I told you, the presentation actually is made for a lecture for hour. So at some stage, we will escape some slides, but you will have the full presentation. So you can read this slides in detail at home. Okay. So you can see here how we are very bad. This is 2029. This is when the first time people start to think about the planetary boundary. And when they start to measure this planetary boundary, they found actually we have 9 planetary boundaries. There is 9 measurable or 9 things that we need to measure to see if our planet is safe or not. In 2029, the people discovered that, okay, we have 3 planetary boundaries that already crossed. 2015, they did another analysis and they discovered that 4 planetary boundary crossed. 2022, they discovered 5 planetary boundary crossed. And at the end of 2022, 2023, so last year, they discovered that 6 planetary boundary already crossed. And the problem is that in 2015, we have the Paris Agreement. So all the leaders around the world meet together in Paris, and they agreed we will shut down our CO2 emission in order to protect our Earth. Right? And then we still lose planetary boundary. So again, here we need to think in a wise way how the politicians think. And if really do what we should or what Earth need to protect. Europe, for example, Europe here, they claim we need to achieve the net zero by 2050, right? 2050 is tomorrow. It's 15 years from now. And then we have suddenly a conflict between Russia and Ukraine, right? And then the leader who signed the Paris Agreement, who said we need to shut down our CO2 in order to be zero by 2050, they decide to use the coal and return back to the fossil oil just because there is no resources that come anymore from Russia. This is our leader. They decide to increase the CO2 emission because of some political conflicts. They don't care. Again, this is the important thing, that the planetary boundary framework is just a measure. It's not a tool to help or to fix a problem. It's just to tell you where you are. So the concept of planetary boundary is it's 9 global processes regulate and the stability of the land, atmosphere, and the earth. So you will find in the planetary boundary, in this 9 planetary boundaries related to land, atmosphere, and earth. The tipping point in any of the planetary boundary, so actually, this is the line. This is not the boundary. This is a line at the tipping point. And if we are here, we are safe. If we are before this tipping point, we are safe. If we are at the tipping point, you are at high risk. If you cross the tipping, you couldn't predict what the system will do. Actually, the boundary itself is not here. The boundary is a bit before the tipping. Just to give to the politician and to the scientist some time to work before the tipping. The estimate of the upper and lower value of the process have been made between which the response of the change is gradual. So here again, people start to work, different scientists, different group work in order to define this boundary. And again, they here highlighted that if we exceed this boundary, if we just cross the point, the tipping point, we don't know what we have. Because now the system actually is not responding as normal would. So this is an example of the CO2, how they calculate the planetary boundary of the CO2. And they said that the tipping point is around 450. This is the tipping point. 550, you are outside of the everything. And 350 is the lower limit. So actually they put the planetary boundary at 350. So normally all the planetary boundary, all the numbers that we'll present today is not at the tipping, it's just before. And there's just an example how they calculate this one. And it's different from planetary boundary to another. This is a CO2, which is something related to the climate change. For the planetary boundary, we have 2 core planetary boundaries. This is the climate change and the biosphere integrity. Why they call this as a core planetary boundary? Because simply, if you change one of them, it will affect negatively on everything. So they are very critical. And for example, I can tell you why it's very critical. For example, climate change. One temperature increase, the CO2, for example, increase a bit, not so much. You see how we are feeling here. People in Middle East or in Africa, they are just boiling. It's 40, 50 degrees. Okay. Biodiversity actually is the most important planetary boundary from my point of view, because this boundary actually is measured by how many species we lost every year. And the point, if you lose a species, you will not get it anymore. Completely, you lost it. Right? If the temperature increase, okay, we can make action, we can try to reduce the CO2 and we can bring it back to the normal. But if you lose one species, there is no way, it's out of order. You couldn't get it, right? Today's situation, actually, we have 6 planetary boundaries that already crossed. The climate change, we already crossed. You can see here, this is the climate change. We already out of the order. Biodiversity, biosphere integrity, here, again, we cross the boundary. Land system change, or land system, here, we just crossed the boundary like last year. Biogeochemical flow, here, the phosphorus and nitrogen, again, we cross the boundary. The good thing that stratosphere ozone, which is this one, I think this is the only positive thing that the stratosphere ozone. This is the only positive thing today in this lecture, because actually we crossed this boundary in the 80s, I think 85 or 83, something like this. And then we succeeded to return. So this is a good example that it's not very bad, it's not very black image. We can still do something. And this is an example. Ocean acidification, we before the boundary, but we almost there. Fresh water, the fresh water, the green and the blue fresh water, we already crossed the boundary. And I think this is one of the important boundaries as well. It's as the biosphere. Air zone, this is the atmospheric air zone, we before the boundary, and the novel entity, this is the novel entity we already crossed. So 6 out of 9 we crossed. 1 is safe, we already succeeded to return it back, and then 2 we still can do some things. Any questions so far? Okay. So now I will start to present some of these boundaries. Again, you will find here detailed description for each boundary. You will find in the course description like literature review and things to read and video to watch that describe each boundary and describe the problem in general. So here I will go maybe in the first, second, and the third boundary a bit in more detail just to give you a bit sense. In the rest, I will just a bit go fast. But all the information that you need is in the lecture, in the presentation, and in the materials. So the climate change boundary, it's a core boundary. We already crossed it. And this is some fact around this climate change. So the Earth's temperature is largely controlled by the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Evidence shows that periods of higher atmospheric carbon dioxide are correlated with higher average global temperature. And this is one of the first figures that I presented today. So I presented today the carbon dioxide and the temperature. And you can see clearly that increased carbon dioxide is correlate very positive with the temperature. Atmospheric temperature affect wind pattern, ocean current, rainfall, and other effects. So actually the CO2 that produced in China has something to do with that. Last year, I think it was last year, maybe this year as well, a major river in Europe has no water. The Danube has no water because there is carbon dioxide that produced in China. Okay, and sometime as will come in the presentation, in the 70s of the previous century, Europe was produce a lot of material, including carbon dioxide, and this caused a huge implication for North Africa. And this is a problem that we need to think about, that maybe the cause of the problem is outside here. It's good Europe can put a lot of implementation, a lot of rules. We need to reduce the carbon emission, or we need to achieve the carbon emission by 2050. This is great to achieve. But the point, the majority of the carbon emission not produced here in Europe. It's produced somewhere else. So actually, you need to achieve an international agreement. Everyone should agree. And not only agree, act on this. Yeah, please.
Regarding the solution. What do you think about the reason why it became a success? How did you manage to do it? To replicate.
Well, I think maybe propaganda, media awareness. Because I was young at this time. This was like in the 80s. I think the problem was raised sometime middle of 75 or so, 75, 76. So like 40 years ago, more than 50 years ago or so, the problem rises there at the international level. And in the 85, when I was very young, I was at the media. When I watched TV all the time, I am Egyptian, and the income in Egypt is not good. And the government support a lot of media campaigns to inform people you need to stop using such type of material to restore this. So awareness is one of the big solution. Not only to put regulation. Regulation, as we know, regulation just some written things on paper. You need to put this regulation on action. And the action should come from us as a people. And actually, this is when I present the three economic things. This is true. You know, you are owner of a company. You need to make your company run very well. You need to consume resources in order to make your company work. And this is a business plan. But the products that you are produce, who will use it? We, right? We are the consumer. We are the people who buy from it. So if we decide, no, we will not buy this product because it's not good enough. It's affect the environment in a negative way. The businessman, the owner of the company, will start to say, okay, I need to sell. So I need to find a solution to make my company more circular, to make my company not to consume. So actually, we can make it. If you decide, for example, okay, I will not buy a telephone every year. I will buy every 5 years. The selling of the telephones will decrease, right? And then the company will start to say, why is that? Because of, okay, we consume a lot of resources. So we need to go more towards the recycling. So we can do that, but we need to increase that. Okay, here there is one point about the thermal expansion and the melt of the ice, because again, when you have a lot of heat in the earth, this will melt the ice either in Arctic or Antarctic, and this increase the sea level, and this affect the people who are living along the sea. So this is a planetary boundary. This is the time, like 1,600. The carbon dioxide was measured by ppm 280. In 1988, it was measured 350. So we crossed the boundary in 88. And now, in 2026, we are 470. So we already above the planetary boundary was around 70 ppm. Yeah. Actually, this measure was before 2022. I think they published a new paper in 2022 or 2023 and they subdivide the climate change into two sub-planetary boundaries, the CO2, which is the main one, and then something called radioactive force. This force actually is the total energy in the Earth, how much the total energy in the Earth change. Okay? So maybe we can have a break for 10 minutes, and then we will go to the next slide, which how we can fix this problem. Well, ready for next part of the lecture? So I think in this part we have thought maybe 30 minutes or so. Try to make it a bit fast. So I will try to present a bit different planetary boundary. And then, as you see in the presentation, I am presenting the planetary boundary. I present the boundaries, what's the number behind the boundary itself, and then maybe some facts around the boundary like this. And then I present the number, and then few things about how we can try to think how to solve this. So here for the climate change, actually, it's mainly at the level of the international government level. So actually in 1997, 84 countries signed an agreement. It's called Kyoto Protocol in order to reduce the greenhouse gases. In COP 2021, 2021. This was in Paris in 2015. Actually, 174 countries signed this agreement to reduce the gas. And I would like to highlight this statement and keep this in your mind just for 5 minutes. Most people accept that biofuel industry has a role in the reduction of fossil fuel consumption. So when you speak with us people, when you speak with politicians, with government institutes, they say, okay, we are produce a lot of CO2, and the CO2 is coming because of this normal oil or normal gas, diesel. And in order to shift this, there is several solutions, renewable energy, for example, but also we can use something called biofuel. So this is a solution, right? Okay. Keep this solution in your mind just for 5 minutes. So in Paris Agreement 2015, 174 countries take action, sign agreement. This agreement is to reduce the global temperature to 1.5 below the pre-industry time. They would like they put like target for the the greenhouse gases to be reduced by 2050 and to be cut completely by 2100. The countries should be achieved, or we should review the achievement of each country each 5 years, and the rich country should help the poor country. And this is another point in the planetary boundary. So actually, planetary boundary, we need to think about the diversity in our society, the equality between developed nation and non-developed nation. We got a lot of resources from Africa, for example, right? And then they are very poor. They can't take such type of action. So we, as developed nation, we need to support them. And this is actually the agreement. So they agreed that the rich country should support these poor countries. But again, I am very sorry to say, I have to reflect with a negative way. This is just agreement, fine. Just 5 years after that, we have the conflict rising and all the countries start to fight each other. Well, the second boundary is the biosphere integrity. This already crossed. And in the biosphere integrity, we have two sub-boundary, function and genetic. And the biosphere, it's a very simple boundary, so I don't need to explain it a lot. We have a lot of pollution, and this pollution kill animals. We have climate change. This climate change kill animals. We have ocean acidification. We have a lot of change in the pH of the water of the ocean, and this change kill animals. So biosphere integrity is just we are lose animal, we are lose species and plants. And again, the complexity in this biosphere, two things. If we lose one animal, we disrupt all the cycle. So all the other animals start to be really affected in a negative way. And the second important point, if we lose one animal, if we lose one species, there is no way to get it back. We lost it. So this is the genetic one. This is the genetic one because we said that we have genetic and we have function. This is the genetic one. So the genetic one, before the industry time, like 1070 or so, 700, we was lose one species per million per year. Now we lose more than 100 species per million per year. The boundary is 10. So you can see the big difference between the boundary and how much we lose. So the boundary is 10 species for each million species per year, and we already lose more than 100 species. And the function part actually is something about the food in the ecosystem. Do we have enough food? Do we have enough energy in the ecosystem that enough to feed all the species? And again, unfortunately, we don't have, because we have now more than 30%. So we consume more than 70% of the resources in the ecosystem. So every year we consume 70% and we left 30%. So in the next year, you come with resources only with 30%. So there is no enough energy, there is no enough food for the coming year, and so on. How we can protect the biodiversity? We need to monitor biodiversity. We need to find species conservation, like seed bank, sperm bank. We need to put an international treatment and really force and in really action. No one should fish this type of fish, or no one should hunt this type of animal. Limit fishing when fish are limited. Limit the use of agricultural chemical and fertilizer, because this is one of the big reasons, as I will explain in one of the planetary boundary. Increase the public awareness. Again, to increase the public. And again here, because I don't want to give you like very bad impression about the lecture all the time, everything is bad. We at Tromsø here, we are working very hard on this biodiversity thing. So our group, the Sustainability Lab group, we have several EU projects in order to restore marine biodiversity. And we work very well and we succeed to restore a lot. So it's not possible. We can do. We as a human, we can restore our biodiversity. We can restore our planet. But we need first increase awareness. We need to be aware of the problem. And second, start to make action. Then we go to the land system change boundary. This is already crossed. And it's very simple boundary, because we change the use of the land. So this is the boundary. We change the use of the land. So many countries, they cut the forest in order to start use agricultural activity to produce food. If you look here at Tromsø, just in the last 10 years, if you go to the south of the city, all the southern part of the city, they start to build high building. And Tromsø is a small site. If you go to big cities, they destroy the vegetation and try to build big buildings, big companies. So they change how we use it. So actually the rule is that no more than 15% of the ice-free land should be used for crop growing and human habitats. So if we exclude the ice cover lands, the rest, only 15%, can be used in order to produce food. But we are growing, we have a lot of, we are almost 8 billion persons or 9 billion persons. So we need more food, right? Farming should be concentrated in the most productive area. If you would like to start to produce food, you should focus on one area that produce more. People should eat less meat to reduce the area that they use by animal. More efficient crop planning should be grown. Okay, and here I would like to reflect again on this point. More efficient crop plan should be grown. How we can make small piece of land like this grow more food? Any ideas? Using the current technology, please.
I've seen some boxes, they're like vertical.
Okay, this is using the new technology, okay, but using the classical technology. Yeah, this is a very good solution, good example, innovative solution. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
You can select out the genes that makes the plants grow faster.
Okay, but this is again, this is the innovative solution. So you need some technology behind this. Agree, yes. Another solution? Classical one, very classical one. Because the majority of the food actually is produced in India and China, in this low-income country. So maybe they don't have enough money to use such type of technology or try to exclude the genes. So normally, actually, we can go for the classical way, which is vote more fertilizer. Right? Vote more fertilizer, the land will produce more food. Right? Okay. Here, this is one thing that I have to reflect on. Do you remember the point that I said, the biofuel that people try to say, okay, biofuel is a solution, right? Actually, biofuel solution for the climate change, but it's a problem for this biodiversity integrity or the land use. Simply because in order to produce biofuel, we need to use a lot of lands. And in order to use a lot of land, you need to change how you are using this land. So there is competition between the different boundaries. In order to fix this one, you need to stop the biofuel, yeah? But the biofuel actually is used in order to fix this one. It's the same here. In order to produce more food, we need to add more chemical. And the chemical that we put in the land actually is a reason of another problem, which is the biochemical flow. So the biochemical flow actually is a problem produced because of the phosphorus and the nitrogen that we put in the soil. So in order to fix the land use, in order to produce more food from the same land, we put more chemical. But this chemical actually is the cause of another problem. The biochemical flow. So the biochemical flow actually is because of the fertilizer. We are put a lot of nitrogen, a lot of phosphorus to the soil, and this water or this material find their way to the ocean or to the water bodies. And then it starts to change the chemistry of the ocean. And by the way, it starts to change and affect in a negative way the biodiversity. So the solution of one of the planetary boundary actually is a problem for another one. Good. Should we go? Some consequence for this biochemical flow you can read, but in general, the main problem that this biochemical flow finds their way into the water, the ocean, or rivers, or seas, and then from there they change the chemistry of the water, change the pH of the water, and this affect in a negative way the biosphere sector. And this is the boundary. Actually, the boundary that we should not produce more than 62 million tons of nitrogen into our soil. So the limit is 62 million tons. This year, last year, 2023, we produced or we added 190 million. So I think 3 times above the boundary. I think 3 times above. Good. Good things, the stratosphere ozone boundary, which we succeeded to shift it to the green zone. So actually the problem was discovered in 1970, and they discovered that the ozone layer in the upper atmosphere start to be very thin. Even in, I think in 72, 73, they discovered a hole above Antarctica. So there is a hole in the layer. So the layer is not existing there, the ozone layer. The ozone layer actually is the layer that's responsible for reflecting of the ultraviolet radiation from the sun. And ultraviolet radiation, of course, first of all, it's energy. So if it finds a way to the earth, it's increase the energy of the earth, but also it has negative effect on us. It can cause cancer, skin cancer. And of course, they could produce damage for the DNA and can kill. And in 87, in Montreal Protocol, they agreed we need to stop this. They signed the Montreal Protocol, and then it followed up with a huge propaganda in the media. We need to stop this, and we succeeded to restore the ozone. So this is a good example that awareness can do. So actually, the measure or the layer is that the ozone should be at least 276 Thomson unit. Thomson unit is a unit to measure the thickness of the layer. 2016, so 8 years ago, it was 300 Thomson unit. Perfect. So we are above this one. 2023, last year, we returned back to 284. So we are now again closer to the boundary. So we need again another second campaign of awareness. In order to make the people aware, we need to stop using these materials. Ocean acidification layer, I don't need to go in more detail in ocean acidification layer, because I think all of you are aware of that. We are producing a lot of CO2. The CO2 go to the ocean, start to interact with the water, change the pH of the water become more acid, And when the water become more acid, it start to change the behavior of all the animal and the coral reef and all the planets that are living in the ocean or in the marine environment. So it's actually a problem with the pH of the water, and this is caused by the CO2 that we are producing. And the CO2 produced because we are use fossil oil. Here, this is some consequence that the fish couldn't breathe in normal way. The fish couldn't be. So the ecosystem actually for the fish and for the ocean animal is not right anyway or anymore to have like healthy ecosystem.
Question?
Yep.
Is it only downsides for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's only down. There is no positive side because the Earth is stable over billion of years. It's 4 billion, and it's stable like this. The pH should be at this level. If you increase it, you change the system. It's downside. If you decrease it too much, you change the system. It's again downside. So change any boundary, either to left or to right. It's good. So this is the boundary itself. So the boundary that we measure this boundary with something called aragonite index. Aragonite, this is a mineral. We have this mineral has a sister mineral called calcite. Both of them have the same chemical composition, but have different structure. And the ratio between these two minerals actually give you how much the ocean is healthy. So this ratio should be 3.4 to 1. So actually, the current ratio is 2.8 to 1. So actually, we very close to pass this one. Because this is the average boundary, 2.701. And if we go down this number, like 2.7 or 2.6, we are out of control. And now we are 2.8, so we are almost there. But we still can do something. Freshwater exchange boundary. I believe this is one of the most important boundaries. It's equally important as biodiversity. Do you know why? Why this boundary is very important? First of all, to define the boundary itself. So the boundary actually includes two sub-boundaries. We have something called the blue water. And the blue water is the water in the river, lakes, aquifers that can be used by human, by us. So any water that we can use, this is the blue water. And we have something called the green water. And this is the water that's stored in the soil and used by the plant. So the water saturation in the soil, the planet use it. This is called green water. And you can see here, we cross both the green water and the blue. The fundamental problem for the water, freshwater planetary boundary is that only 2.5% of the water on the Earth is fresh. 61% of the water, fresh water, is froze, is ice. Not all the fresh water is drinkable because there is a lot of fresh water that has chemical, has biochemical components that make this water is unhealthy to drink. The problem is that the fresh water is uniformly distributed around the world. So there is some nation has a lot of water. There is some nation has no water. Okay. Any reflection here? Why I think, or why maybe you think, maybe you agree, or maybe disagree. But why do you think that I see the fresh water is one of the important? I believe it's the second one after the in the what?
Independent of the
Yes, we all independent. You need water to drink, you need water to plant things, to farm things. But this is not the real problem.
Maybe if a lot of the frozen water melts, it can change the currents. Something about the salt and different temperatures in the water. I think I've heard.
Yeah, maybe, but not this is the real one. This is, yeah, I agree with you, because if you increase the temperature, you defreeze the water. But the problem, you defreeze the water in the ocean. So you change the salinity of the ocean, you increase the sea level, but you didn't use the water because it's already become salt water.
Yeah, but I also heard that the different types of salt can have different temperatures and that affect.
The ecosystem.
Yeah.
But again, this is not the main. I don't think this is not in my point of view the main problem. There is another question, please.
Yeah, because it's so unequally divided, could be that it's the fuel for multiple conflicts.
Exactly. Actually, if you look at the major war now, except the Ukrainian and Russian, is for water. So actually, it caused or triggered wars and huge political. Because as you said, it's important for us. We need water. Again, this is like negative feedback that even we see that the water there is, we need water, we need fresh water. We still use water. We still affect on the water by climate change. We still contribute to the pollution. We increase the population. We still pump water from the ground, from the aquifers, from the, it's called groundwater. So we still use this water. And again, sustainability concept that we need to keep some water for the future. If you are a country and you know that there is groundwater underneath you, you don't need to pump everything. Just keep some for the future. Okay, this is again some consequence for this one. And this is the boundary. So actually the boundary is that all the human, all of us, we should not take more than 4,000 square or cubic kilometer per year. This is the limit. Last year, we used 4,300 cubic kilometer. So we above the limit with 300 cubic kilometer. Then we will go very fast. Now I have like maybe 5 minutes, very fast atmospheric aerosol loading boundary. Just to tell you what's the atmospheric aerosol. This is the natural particle on the earth, like ash, like chemicals that is coming out of burning things, something very fine that is on the earth. And it affects the system, affect our health. It's the ash, for example, the ash that is coming by burning wood or burning things is coming to the North Pole. It's start to deposit and over the ice. It turns the ice into black ice, and black ice start to absorb more energy, and it help more to melt this ice. So it has again some consequence. But this is the what's called atmospheric aerosol loading. This is the thing that is natural, and we think that at least 800,000 this case is by this. Okay. This is some consequence, you can read it. This is the boundary itself. And then we can go to, I think this is the last boundary, if I'm not correct, the novel identity. And the novel identity, it's again similar to the previous one, but this is the things that we made by our hands. Like plastic, because plastic is not natural, we produce it by our hand. Things that we use in order to create the chips for the computer or the mobile. This very nano material. This once you destroy it, it's go to the atmosphere. So this is what's called novel identity. Like for example, the DDT, radioactive material, which we are using in something or in manufacture and so on. This is the novel. Good. So now this is almost the last slide. So we have like 15 minutes to reflect and discuss. This is our situation today. Actually, this is situation 2025. Today is a bit worse, but we have two ways. We can consume as we are doing now. We can create business that consume more energy, consume more resources, and then we will end with this. We just passed all the planetary. Or we can think about our consumer behavior. We can think for our future company that you will create, or the company that you will work with, how we can help our society, how we can turn this company, how we can create business models that more circular, more useful to our society, how we can think about innovation, like the ideas that you are created now. We can either get gene change in order to produce more food, or we can farm using vertical farm. Okay, this is innovation. This is something we use the same piece of land, but will produce more food. Perfect. So we can start to think outside the box in order to help our environment. At least we can change our behavior, or we can increase awareness of others. Just speak with the people. Try to inform them we are in crisis. We need to change our. Okay, and if we succeed to do so, maybe we will go to the great transition, and then we start to reduce all the planetary boundary from the red zone again back to the green zone. And we hope that. Great. So this is the last slide. This is 3 questions. I would like to get some feedback from you. I have 15 minutes for that. What's your opinion on the current environmental crisis facing the Earth with the context of this planetary boundary? Do you agree with the number that I presented or not? Do you think what I presented, real number, is it important? Do you think it's not important? From your point of view, I am very bad in remember the name, so you can just reflect whatever you want. You can say what you just presented today, just bullshit. No problem. Okay, and then answer the same question. What does World Sustainable Innovation mean for you? The title of the course after this lecture. Do you think you change the meaning for you? Is it still around innovation? Is it still around, I would like to create a business, and this business, I will be the super rich person in 5 years. I will consume whatever resources I need for my business in order to be super rich? Or I need to create an innovation to save our. And then, do you think you still agree or disagree with weak sustainability or strong sustainability? Yep. It's a floor for you now. Like to start? Anyone would like to start reflecting on anything, please?
So
there's a lot of this behind we understand that there are like consensus that there are all boundaries that we put so for at least for now. And like the thing I have to think about is that's different. Like maybe there is something that there is also important but we didn't see it now
Yes.
because it can appear for us when we cross another boundaries.
Yes.
We change it something. For example, we try to avoid, let's say, CO2 emission by changing to renewable sources and nuclear sources. And then when we do it, we find that there is another thing that we didn't take under consideration because we didn't report that.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if it's like this is good for now, but how long it will be.
Exactly. So this is one excellent, actually, this excellent reflection that this boundary maybe not cover everything. And again, you see the curve that there is a tip. Once you cross this tip, the system will change and you don't understand what will happen after that. Maybe just after the tipping point of the biodiversity things or climate change, you will discover that there is other important things that appear in the system. But at least we have start point. At least we have like 9 major points that we need to think about. But maybe it's not everything. I completely agree. Other feedback, other questions. Who now think about weak sustainability or strong sustainability? Who still believes that weak sustainability can make change? You believe that weak sustainability can make change?
I think that it's better solution. Not we need to know that we are people, we are society, it's civilization. The only civilization we know that achieve everything we currently do. And I think we can say that nature is more important than society model. I think like the model.
But if there is no nature, there is no society.
Yes, but in the small society, it doesn't matter if this nature. The two most important, the business sector for me is the most important thing. In terms of like, I understand why people can't pick up business.
Yeah, blame business. Yeah,
This is not working correctly. But I think we still try to like work with society and nature like as a in the same level.
Okay.
This is less important, but this one is.
Okay. So you believe in weak sustainability, and you believe in weak sustainability because you would like to give a bit of freedom for society to work to fix the problem. Okay. Who is agree with that? No one agree with you. Okay. Who disagree with that? No one disagree with you. You disagree. Okay. Who is disagree? Please raise your hand. Okay, some. So you are supporting strong sustainability. Okay. Why?
I personally feel like we should, I personally believe that nature also has like immense value and it should be respected because it's sort of is the requirement for us to build a society on. So maybe that's where I mostly disagree. That
You need to put environment and nature as first target.
Because if climate change keeps on going, soon there's no planet to live on, so it wouldn't matter. And no society on Earth that's so on.
So anyone agree with here on this opinion? The people who are a strong sustainability?
It's like we depend on nature to create value, and we need value to create a society, and it all doesn't really matter if you have destroyed the whole world. So, and for me, with the background from fisheries and agriculture science, we really depend on nature, the ocean, and having fresh water, because you either produce fish on land or in sea, but you either way how you do it, you need to have it first on land because this multiplication and you put it in sea afterwards. But also the wild stock, so for example, cod and herring and everything, it's all connected. If the ocean currents are shifting, we will no longer have cod in our seas. And then a lot of people will lose their job and the whole economy of Norway would really be destroyed because, for example, salmon is our third biggest export article from Norway. So, and that's just a small piece of the world. So yeah, I think we need to respect and try to manage our nature in the best possible way to create value of it.
Yeah. So this is actually the second phase of the coin, that if we lose the nature, your business will not find resources to work. So if we lose the fish, for example, we will lose 1/3 of our economy, in Norway at least. Right? Yeah. Any more input here? Who support strong or weak? Sorry?
They have to.
No. No.
Like when I see the model from I think it's more showcased like that we're part of nature, we're part of the environment. And the economy is part of us. Society.
Yes. Yes, I completely agree. Economy is part of us as society. We depend on the economy because you are work for a company, you get salary from the company. If the company struggle, you will not get salary, right? So we depend on the economy, that's correct, but the economy depend on the nature. So we need to make this balance somehow, like use nature because you need to create your company, you need to get some resources, you need to consume energy, okay, but still try to keep a balance. Exactly, yes. But with strong or with weak? Yep. Yep. Yep.
I have a comment on the planetary boundaries. I think a lot of people find them overwhelming. Like people have a lot of needs, wants, and their daily lives depend a lot on using things that might not be good for these boundaries. So, like if you need wood to fire your oven in a third world country, you don't care about it polluting or making more greenhouse gases because you need it to make food or cook your food. So, and also like in the Western world, you have very stressful days. Like you don't need to think or want to think about how could I reduce this because you
We have
a lot
another
of time. So
challenge. Yep.
I think for a lot of people it seems overwhelming and stressing, but it's the reality.
Is the real.
Yes, I think that's a big problem.
Yep.
To solve it.
Maybe I can use this to reflect my opinion if I am weak or strong. Actually, I am both. So when you come to policy that is government should play, policy that mega companies like Google, Facebook, and this big company that has very rich, they have a lot of resources, they should be very strong sustainability. So these companies, these big institutes, government organization should follow strictly sustainable. When you go to people, as you drop an example, the people from third world who are very poor, they would like to just burn some wood in order to get the food, we can find excuse. So we can mix between this and that. But I didn't see any point why governments, why big companies that use a lot of resources still keep use of such resources. If you go to more renewable energy, for example, you will lose money because you will produce technology, you will make experiment, you will lose money. That's correct. But how much you will lose? You're already super rich. right? If you have 10 billion and you lose 1 billion just to develop a new technology, this is not losing. So I didn't find any excuse for these big companies, governments, big governments that super rich. Why they didn't follow this strict, strong sustainability? For people.
Somebody has to decide whose need is like most important. Where do we cross the line? Because the person or people that own Google or other would say that they have a need to earn
More money.
this money. Yeah.
Yes. So they
And like the poor people, they
Exactly.
need the wood.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if I am an owner of company, I would say this. Yeah. So it's again, it's awareness from inside. You need as a person to believe, there is a problem here. I need to contribute this. I need, when I go back to home, I don't need to use a lot of water. Yeah, we have a lot of water here in Norway, but no, I need to reduce my consumption of water because there is other nation needs. I need to reduce my energy, just as inside feeling, as an action from you. And this with the time will grow and it will be affect all society. And again, the consumption rate, the consumption behavior affect the business people. Because if all of us decide we will not use this product because this product use a lot of energy or contribute in a negative way to this planetary boundary or so on, the owner of the company will start to think, okay, I need to sell my product. So I need to find a way to solve this. Yep. Okay. So anyone change his idea about the sustainable innovation? Why you are here? No one change. Okay. So actually, I think I will see you Monday. I think we have like the group meeting Monday. And from now to Monday, I will send the record. I will send the presentation to the admin of the Canvas page. I hope that they will upload it to the Canvas page. If they didn't make it, the record will be uploaded on the YouTube. Okay. So I think I have access to your email. So I can send you an email or a message on the Canvas with the links to the presentation and the link to it. So nice weekend. See you Monday.